For Best Music Coach, my name is Dan, and you are watching a music teacher's reaction to Devil May Cry 5 original soundtrack. This is going to be part 4 of 4, so I found out, so make sure you hang out to the end, because we're going to watch and check out, and I'm going to give you all my commentary and thoughts on the song you've all been asking me about, called Bury the Cheese. Wait, no, that's not right. Bury the Light. We're going to go all the way through to Bury the Light, so make sure you hang out from now all the way through to the end of the stream. We're going to do a whole bunch of music today, ladies and gentlemen, so buckle in. And let's get this thing rocking and rolling. With Gatekeeper Unleashed, we're going to be doing a selection of discs 4, 5, and the special edition today. Here we go. Gatekeeper Unleashed. Let's do this thing. Well, if that's not ominous and foreboding, or shouldn't I say omnibus and let's go boating, I don't know what is. This next one is called Roar, Roar, Roar. Yeah, roar, roar. I don't even know what to call that. Like glitchcore, maybe? I mean, listen, I was talking about the connection between dubstep and metal. You know, in the sense it's like kind of hard, and like you headbang to both of them, kinda, right? This is like the Swedish death metal of dance music. It's like so hard. It's like so ignorant. It's so just like aggressively in your face and will not quit. So much going on there too, like the use of the stuttering. I mean, there's one moment back in here. Just the panning of everything going back and forth. I mean, wow. What a piece of art. I can honestly say I've never heard anything like that before. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anything like that before in my life. That was wild. That was wild. Really just how aggressive that music was. This next one is called Undeniable Fate. Thought I was about to head into Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. Okay, so there's a reason why I was giggling during this very serious music, and I'm going to show you why. Here it is right here. I'm going to play it for you, then I'm explaining it to you. So that sound there. Ba, 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 but it sounds like this. Boing, boing, boing. That sound right there, right at the top. It's higher than I just. Boing, boing, boing. Up there. Oh, I changed the notes. But look, okay, so someone in the chat was like, hey, hang on a second. Are there bagpipes being played in this piece? I was like, no, unless I'm like, there's a pipe organ. And then this thing played again, and I understood why the person asked if there was bagpipes. So what that sound is like an old-fashioned way. Okay, so look. Over the history of synthesizers are like keyboards, right? But you can make them sound like pretty much any instrument. Now, how accurate of an instrument representation they sound like has evolved greatly over the years. Now, you go back to like the 80s, 70s, 80s, and this is what brass instruments sound. This is like trumpets. That's like trumpets from the 80s or 90s, maybe. And so I'm laughing because it's so wild to hear a composer using an old-fashioned way of representing real instruments. But the way they're using it here is actually very interesting because it creates a whole new texture. It's a whole new flavor. It's like patchouli oil coming back into fashion. It's like we had patchouli oil in like the 60s and everyone thought it was for hippies. And like now you're really kind of hip if you have patchouli oil. So it's cool to see that these sort of scents or these tastes or these flavors or these sounds from a long time ago coming back now, but they're recycled in a way where it's totally new, it's totally different. You really wouldn't expect it. Very interesting to hear that sound here. An Undeniable Fate. Okay. This next one is called, Undeniable Fate, Rush Percussion Version. I wonder if there's going to be drums in this one. Let's find out. By the way, I didn't say, if this is your first time joining, I've never heard this music before. This is my first time reacting to all of it. I have no preparation, no prior knowledge. Everything I say, do, talk about, breakdowns off the top of my head in the moment from one single listen. Let's keep it going with Undeniable Fate, Rush Percussion Version. Here we go. Oh yeah, come on now. Oh, get groovy with it. Get jiggy with it. Oh, delightful. Okay. All right. So a couple interesting things here. Number one, this delightful little thing. we have that digga, that like a tempo inside a tempo, playing with time like that. Love that effect. Now, I just asked in chat if there were any audio engineers. Now, I'm not saying that this is an exclusive skill to audio engineers, but something going on in this track is called clipping. Now, a reverb. Oh, okay. So Rodolado says reverb, I believe. Okay, but here's the thing. I'm going to explain what clipping is because it's possible. In these headphones, it sounds to me like clipping, but this is not definitive. This is not a definitive call. This is a hypothesis. So basically, what you can hear is some slight distortion and crackling. It's like on the dunk. You can hear it crackles a little bit. It's almost like a static sound. And so when we hear that static sound, that is typically something called clipping. Now, clipping occurs because, well, the way we make music louder is actually really fascinating. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I'm going to give you a brief overview. So basically, music can be a 0 or it can be 100. It cannot go to 101. It physically cannot. If it goes to 101, what happens is it starts to distort, but it doesn't actually ever go louder than 100. And so what we're hearing here is music that is trying to go past 100. It's trying to go to 101. It's trying to go to 102. It's trying to go to 103. It wants to be louder, but it physically cannot be louder. And the result of that is something called clipping, where you hear a little bit of static, a little bit of that kind of a sound on top of it. But I'm sure we'll get confirmation from some audio engineers, and perhaps when Rodolado is back in the office with their fancy setup where they can hear all the super small details. Okay. Real interesting piece. A lot of percussion. Sure was a percussion version, much like the Rush percussion version we heard, I believe, in disc 1 or disc 2, where it was kind of like the same idea of a song, but tons of drums. Drums are percussion. There's also other instruments that are percussion as well, like clave, cabasa, cowbell is percussion. Slap your hands together is percussive instruments. Okay. Let's move forward, rocking and rolling onto grill. Oh, now I'm going to get hungry. Please. I didn't even have to make a food metaphor. It's right here for me. Grilled tandoori smoke. You expect me to hold focus for the rest of this when I'm thinking about tandoori chicken? Oh my gosh. Oh, Indian food. Here we go. Do you eat it with a papadum? Do you eat it with a naan? Gutter garlic naan. Butter garlic. Gutter garlic. That's like Rammstein. Let's go. Now, I love the way these drums are mixed here. There's a beautiful pocket for those toms up to the right. I have only one complaint about the song, and that was it was too short. I would love to hear extrapolations and because there were so many tight ideas in this. All right, so something to point out here. You hear that sound? Oh my goodness. And then juxtapose that electronic thing with like this Rammstein kind of groove. By the way, if you're not familiar with Rammstein, check out Du Hast by Rammstein. It is, I mean, I think it might be like, perhaps like, I don't know, eating at a really good, like you should do it at least once in your life. Like listen, I'll do a little bit of Du Hast. Like it's, yeah. Okay. But I think what's interesting here is that throughout this Devil May Cry 5 soundtrack, we've heard a lot of times dubstep being mixed with metal guitar or hard rock guitar. And what we're hearing here is truly metal guitar. Like there's no way I'm going to call that hard rock. That's metal guitar mixed with this harder techno sound that is not dubstep. So very interesting to hear again this mix and match between a dance genre and then a hard rock or metal genre being brought together to create this again very unique sound. I've never heard anything like this before in my life. This next one is called Silent Siren, which is like the tasteless food. What's the point of this silent siren? Is that like the little engine that could? Like we're gonna need to write a children's book to inspire people about how the silent siren felt bad for the sailors and didn't want to like lure them in like to their deaths upon the shore. And then the whole like it's the children's book for sirens to like teach little sirens that it's okay to lure sailors to their death. Perhaps. All right, here we go. Silent Siren. Here too. I love this, like, brass hitting it in. Oh my gosh. Like right here, these are hard rock chords, not metal chords. Huh. Okay. All right, so a couple interesting things to point out. So again, we're hearing this mix between a dance genre and metal genre. Now, I wouldn't quite call this industrial. Industrial is a very particular type of metal where you do indeed have electronic influences, but like this went to like a core, like a pop chorus type thing. Now, why I said those chords were hard rock chords as opposed to metal chords is because I'm categorizing bands like AC/DC as hard rock and not as metal, whereas I'm categorizing bands like Megadeth and Metallica as metal. So like, like reasonably you could see AC/DC doing something like that. That's not a Metallica thing. A Metallica is a... Yeah, something like that. You see, so the difference there being that now not only are we seeing that we're playing with metal and dance genres, but now actually branching out into hard rock combined with dance genres. And I wonder if there's some kind of significance to the game of an element of like old analog something. I'm not saying all metal's old, but like, you know what I mean? It was invented in like the 80s. So like an old analog thing versus like a new techno thing and some combination between the two. I can't help but wonder if there's something like that in the game considering how much we're seeing now. Like we saw a little bit up to this point. It was mainly dubstep and like metal, but now we're seeing such a branching off and such a extrapolating on it. I can't help but wonder if there's something more to this, something symbolic about this, or perhaps it's just a cool genre that, they're rock and rolling with. This next one is called Psycho Machine. Incidentally, that was my name in 2nd grade. Here we go. So a journey through also dance genres. Like we had moments where it was dubsteppy, moments where it felt like EDM, and then moments where it did feel like industrial. Like here, this to me is industrial. But then here it's like definitely EDM and like poppy EDM at that. But at the same time, you hear dun, 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 those metal guitars in the background. What a wild, wild combination of things coming together. I mean, if any of you are into like writing your own music or want to write your own OSTs and stuff like that, just looking at this as an example of taking two completely different things, bringing them together to create something new, this is huge. And honestly, really cool. This next one is called The Duel Introduction, followed straight by The Duel. So we're going to listen through both, and then I'll give my commentary. I want to say something about the Duel that I think summarizes all the discs, all the music we've heard so far at Devil May Cry 5. One of the really awesome things about video game music is that it does not have to stand alone. What I mean by that is this. When you have a band, let's take a phenomenal band with great musicians in it, like Dream Theater. When Dream Theater makes an album, the music needs to stand on its own in the sense that each song needs to tell you a complete story. It needs to be a complete journey in and of itself, whereas the music with video games can take certain liberties that you would not necessarily do with a commercial release. Now, that being said, the reason I bring that up is because you hear the genre shifts in this one song. It was like 4 different genres in 3 minutes. Now, I'm not saying you could not do that as a commercial artist. Harder to do that as commercial artists. But what's really cool is to be able to hear music where people are able to push boundaries in a way that honestly I've not heard. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there. By the way, qualifier. I'm sure there's people out there who are pushing boundaries left and right and doing absolutely insane things, right? But they may not be super mainstream or as well known as bands that kind of do a genre and do that genre well. So listening to a piece of music like this, where we hear the journey from this to this to like this orchestral thing here, then coming back to this, and sure, there's elements that connect the whole thing together, like the glitchy drums, the metal guitar, but even the guitar sound changes a little bit from time to time. But just to hear so many different flavors being presented in one thing, and honestly, I love it. Also, I would love to listen to this just as music. So, interesting that when you have a video game, sometimes you can perhaps take more liberties than you would otherwise. Very cool. Thoroughly enjoyed. This next one is called Massive Power. Because, you know, as they say, with massive power comes like so much responsibility, bro. Here we go. Reverse organ, perhaps. Okay, see, even with this song, all right, so we have these moments, really cool texture, where it's like, we have these drums breaking down, and then these wub, wub, wub stutter things, followed by strings, almost like orchestra hits, right? And then how does it end up? It ends up like you're in a Disney castle, like it's the start of a Disney movie, and you're like going in to see like Snow White. Like, you're like zooming in on a castle. Hang on. Come on. Like, right, you're zooming on the castle. It's almost like Hogwartsian, right? Like with the harp going, doing those huge big, yeah, it's glissando. Oh gosh. Oh, the name's escaping my brain. When you have a chord and you put the wavy line next to it and you play the notes one at a time, called, I'll remember it later. All right. That was really cool. This next one is called Your Legacy. Is ready for pickup, as is your Forester, as is your Outback. It's a Subaru joke. That's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Here we go. Your legacy. Suss that chord, then bring it home. Okay, beautiful piece. I'm gonna break one piece of music theory down for you, and this is when the chord is indeed sus. And no, it's not a meme, but check this out. All right, listen to this. That harmony note changing from what we're doing here. It's like we're going up a scale. Now, scales like we count to, for now, we'll call it a pentachord. We're going to count to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a chord is when we play 1, 3, and 5. It's a major chord altogether. Now, so going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5 all together at the same time. Now, what we're going to do is instead of doing 1, 3, 5, we're going to do 1, 4, 5. That's a sus4 chord. So legacy. And so you do sus4, and sus4 resolves down to the triad. This next one is called improv. Also, the string sounded really nice in that piece. This one is called Improvisation for Violin on the main theme, Legacy. Ooh, violin improvisation, sign me up. Let's do this thing. So a really beautiful piece, honestly, really well played. One thing that's really cool to hear here is I believe this technique is called double stops. And that's where a violinist, or violist, or a cellist, or indeed a double bassist, is going to be playing two strings at the same time to actually create harmony. So what harmony is when you have more than one note at the same time. What's a note? A note is a pitch. A pitch is like ba or ba or ba. And when you have two of those at the same time, that's called harmony. Right there. You hear that? Two notes. So here's one note at a time. Two notes. Two notes. One note. Trill. Beautiful trill. Oh, beautiful. And by playing two notes at the same time, the violinist is actually able to create a lot more tension and resolution. That's what, by the way, keeps you interested in listening to music. Typically, it's tension and resolution. And because there's two notes at the same time, the violinist can highlight and create more tension and a more satisfying resolution to actually keep attention and make the whole thing, well, take the whole thing to the next level. This next one is called Silver Bullet, but I won't be playing it because I'm a werewolf and I don't mess with things like that. Just kidding. Here we go. Silver Bullet. Let's do it. Oh, they're sampling from Devil Trigger. The vocals. Yeah. The vocals are sampling from... Oh, it's cool. All right, I'm going to be honest with you here. This is probably my favorite, not the favorite song, but my favorite part of a song for this entire OST up to this point is this groove right here. Wait for it. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh, it's like the best granola you've ever had in your life. It's like crunchy, but every once in a while it has like a little soft spot where like you hit a raisin or a cherry or something. And it's got like chocolate chips. It's like the best granola you've ever, for Europeans, muesli. It's like the best muesli you've ever had in your life. I don't think I've ever found granola in Europe, but I have found muesli. By the way, granola is so much better than muesli. I'm just saying, even the muesli with chocolate in it, granola is so much better. You don't know what you're missing. Come over here. Come visit. Eat some granola. You'll get it. Like that little variation right there too on that higher note. Han says, nah man, muesli slaps. I don't know. I think if we took 20 children and we raised them in international waters and we gave them from the time of their birth to the age that they were 10 years old, alternating days, evenly, of breakfast, of granola, then muesli, by the time of their 11th birthday, all of them would prefer granola. But that's just my opinion. Let's keep it going with Legacy DMC5 main theme. Oh, now we get a main theme. Excellent. Oh, gosh. Muesli is so good for what do you mean?
When those voices deep within bring you down to your knees again, redemption calls unto all of those who persist with the strength of the few. Don't come to question all that you've known. Remember, you are not alone. I will be here, standing beside you. There is no mountain too tall to overcome. We will be as one.
This week on Downton Abbey.
Don't come to question all that you've known. Remember, you are not alone. I will be here, standing beside you. There is no mountain too tall to overcome. We will be as one. You will rise again. This is your legacy. Rise again. This is your legacy.
Huh. Interesting. So right at the end, under Legacy, you could actually hear that sus4 resolving to 3, but in the strings,
Legacy.
ba, ba. 4 to 3, when it's played with chords, is also called the Amen cadence or the plagal cadence. Now, it's called the Amen cadence because at the end of a lot of church hymns, folks go, Amen. So that's sus4 to 3, also called the Amen cadence, colloquially, because, well, Amen is in a lot of church music. A very beautiful piece. Love hearing those live strings, gorgeous vocals, right on point. A beautiful, beautiful piece of music. Now we're going to actually hear Legacy, a piano improvisation version. Oh, God, we got a violin improv. Now we're getting piano. I feel spoiled. Let's do this. This is great. Ooh. Huh. Huh. Oh. So, a beautiful improvised piece, totally gorgeous with the voicings. Now, what a voicing is the way in which you play a chord or a harmony. So we talked about, you have pitches, some pitches are notes. Then you have two notes at the same time, it creates a chord. Now, a voicing is how you play that chord. So, for example, I could play a G chord like this. Slightly different. Different still. Different still. Different still. Different still. Different still. Different still. All of those are the same chord, but in different voicings. So hearing what voicings someone playing an instrument picks is always very, very interesting. And, those were very gorgeous, gorgeous voicings. So, just before we move on to the next song, I want to let you guys know that we asked 109 completely objective people which one was better, granola or muesli, and 65% said granola, which means 35 people are wrong. I don't know what to tell you. So, we're going to keep it rocking and rolling with Here Goes. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Everybody dance now. Well, here goes. Sound like we're ready for disc 5. Before we jump into disc 5, just gotta ask chat one question. So, Silent, listen, I know you guys came here for music, but now I'm interested in the muesli. Silent HD says in Germany we say Knuspermuesli to granola, and I love that. Was ist Knuspermuesli? Bitte. Was ist Knuspermuesli? Like, what's the translation of Knuspermuesli? Like, das ist nicht super muesli. I would understand it was like awesome muesli. I don't know about snooper. And while we're doing that, looks like we have a bot, so I'm going to handle that. Thank you all for your patience. And I'm going to get us put over into the next tracks. Okay, so the next one up is going to be Devil Trigger, the full version, so all 6 minutes and 45 seconds of it. So we have a couple songs headed our way here. We're going to be ending today with Bury the Light and Bury the Light game version, so make sure you hang out for that. Here we go with Devil Trigger. So the first time I heard the song, I wasn't crazy about it. Everyone was like, wait till you hear this version. I like this better than the other version already. I love the groove, baby. Oh. Ah, the silver bullet. Oh, it all makes sense now. We will rock you. I'd say we're in the bridge here. We're stuttering. Bang, bang. Boom, I don't hear. My favorite part. Dee da dong gong dee da dong gong ram gong ga ji. One more chorus, maybe? Okay, so much better than the in-game versions because you get to hear the whole thing. I think the effects on the vocals were so much better here too because it covered up some of the sort of timing. The vocals weren't always in the groove 100% the whole way, and having some effects on it really did smooth it all out. But that... Oh my gosh, what a great groove. Okay, now someone had a question, music theory question, which I'm going to talk about real quick before we go to the next song. That is, someone in the chat asked, okay, so does a voicing mean a different inversion? Not necessarily. Let me explain why. So an inversion is when you take a chord. Now remember, a chord, it's a group of notes. So we can go like 1, 3, 5. Now if we go 3, 5, 1, that's going to be first inversion. So we're changing the order. So that's not necessarily, it is a different voicing. It's also a different inversion. So all inversions are different voicings. Not all different voicings are inversions. I'll give you an example. So here's a G chord. Here's a different voicing of that G chord. Same inversion. Here is yet another same inversion, different voicing. You see? So you can have the same inversion, but actually stack and order the notes differently within that inversion to have a different voicing. Okay, let's check out the next one, which is called Crimson Cloud. Let's do it. love that stutter. Okay. I also really did like that. I think that's a different version of Crimson Cloud than what we heard before. Something I want to point out about the vocal performance. Not everyone can do this. So while it may be very easy to dismiss this as, oh, I like this, oh, I don't like this, let's at least appreciate the really wild art that this singer is creating, because not everyone can go to this place and get their singing to translate this aggressively. I think you'd be surprised. If you try and record yourself doing this, number one, don't hurt yourself. If your throat hurts, stop, because you're using your voice wrong. But if you try and record your voice and you try and sound angry, or you try and sound sad, or you try and sound happy, you'll find that it's actually a lot harder than you might think it actually is to do. So for this vocalist to really get this aggression to translate while also singing, yeah, it's wild. And here, it's like, when they go to the fight firelight, right here, the way they're saying it makes me think that perhaps the singer is like maybe Scandinavian or from somewhere, maybe Holland. Slight accent in the fire. Could also be, I don't think British. I don't think Australian. I'm very curious as to the background of that singer. Interesting pronunciation on fire. This next one is called Subhuman. Yeah, hard stops hard, and yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, love that rhythm. It's kind of bat metal. Well, you know, I'm not a scream specialist. I know there are people out there who actually specialize in screaming coaching. They actually teach metal folks how to do that in a somewhat sustainable way so they don't end up completely messing their vocal cords up after like a few weeks or months. I think a deliciously heavy song. Also really cool to hear those dubstep moments coming of the that wubby bass. Also, I'm honestly enjoying those last three a lot more than when we heard them in the in-game. I think the in-game versions, these like the full songs. I'm really liking the full songs. I think the presentation's a lot stronger, a lot fuller. It brings it home for me at any rate. This next one is called The Crunching Rhythm of Chiba Rakkasei. Rakkada. It's like right there, the beady, that like cheap, or maybe it's the same trumpet sound. It just isn't good any high. It isn't good high. This delicious kind of smooth jazz-ish. The drums almost sound lo-fi. It's like house chords. Oh, and it's over already. So again, we have this piece of music that really is a combination of multiple genres. We had house for the chords, we had lo-fi for the drums, we had you have those kind of flute elements in house sometimes. But I'm thinking more sort of like smooth jazz, kind of like easy listening to like elevator jazz type of a thing going on there. But a beautiful synergy coming together to create a sound that honestly, again, I've never heard before. So like if you just listen to the drums and you say to yourself lo-fi, sounds lo-fi, right? But then that synth, and then right here, it's like house chords. Huh. Wild. This next one is called History of DMC. So some reverse sounds here. We've heard that string bit before. It literally though is like Donkey Kong Country when you're in the plane. I'm assuming this is a medley from previous games, because these are some tunes we've not heard yet. Huh. Interesting. Well, a lovely look at some tunes we have not heard. The Devil May Cry song is over when it says it's over. I'm sorry. One thing I want to point out here to you guys. All right, type a 2 in the chat if you've played the SNES classic Donkey Kong Country. Type a 2 in the chat if you've played the SNES, S-N-E-S, SNES classic Donkey Kong Country. Okay, Ace Andromeda, Silent HD, Zididar, Dan, Dushes, Kate Cat. Okay, bunch of people. All right, cool. So, guys, you know when you go to like your cousin's like thing and he's got the flights, whatever his name is, you know, he's got the surfer board. Okay. Tell me if this music reminds you of when you jump in the plane, the plane with the barrel. Isn't that like exactly it from Donkey Kong Country? Anyway, Funky Kong, indeed. Okay, very cool. Yeah, all right. Some people are hearing it. Well, yeah, because the drums come in later on it. Yeah, similar style. Not exactly. This is Ace Andromeda. Okay. Some people are hearing it. Some people say, yeah, kind of on the fence. Go and listen to it. Come back and listen to that. I think you'll see it. Yeah, well, Funky Kong starts off like that. Then the drums come in. Yeah, drums come in after a couple reps of that. Anyway. Let's go to the next one, which is going to be called Devil May Cry 5 SE Titlescreen. Let's check it out. Oh, yeah, little stutters in there. Now, these are the chords we heard from the very Disc 1 title screen. Hints at a wubby bass in there too. Which I don't know if I noticed first. It might have been in the first menu, but I didn't notice it. Alright, and we're set up to go straight into Battle 1 Vergil from Devil May Cry 3 SE. That's dark. Okay, well, considering that is from Devil May Cry 3, I definitely do hear the difference. We didn't really hear anything like that in Devil May Cry 5 soundtrack, and we did hear a little bit of things kind of hinting towards that in the history of DMC. So what we heard there was, I mean, clearly 2 games before, a little bit lighter, not quite as heavy, and that was, for me at least, a little more influenced by industrial, like really tilting to more towards like a Tool type thing. That it was not itself industrial, but for me it was more influenced by things like that. This next one is called Beowulf Battle. Let's check it out. Oh. Okay, so again, what we're seeing here is this is one of the older Devil May Cry songs, and we're definitely hearing a distinct difference. Whereas within Devil May Cry 5, we can hear tastes of what is going to be that real sort of industrial sound. What we're hearing here over the past two songs really has been industrial sounds. Now we're going to move back to Devil May Cry 5 with Let's Just See SE Edit. Let's check it out. Wow, it sounds like a hi-hat sound too there. Okay, delightful. Now, I think what's interesting here, so this is a Devil May Cry 5 remix. From what I understand from the chat, this song actually originates from Devil May Cry 4. So we can hear this more industrial thing here. However, we can hear it starting to trend towards that dubsteppy. Well, not dubsteppy. But now we heard throughout Devil May Cry 5 that combination of the sort of heavy guitar plus the dance music genres. We can hear it's almost like a stepping stone from Devil May Cry 3 to Devil May Cry 5, which would make sense, especially if it was from Devil May Cry 4. So, a real interesting piece of music. I love having that choir in on top of it, and the mix is just gorgeous. You can hear the choir crystal clear, and on top of that, it's all the crunching, all the guitar, all the really heavy kind of nasty stuff going on. It's kind of like if you take I don't know, I don't have an example for you, but that was really cool. This next one is called Devil May Cry HRHM version, Devil May Cry 5 SE Edit. Let's check it out. Something's happening. And 1, 2, 3, go!
Bless me with your gift of light, righteous calls and judgment nights. Feel the sorrow the light has swallowed. Feel the freedom like no tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Stepping for the cure for a soul's demise. Reap the tears of the victim's cries. Yearning more to heal the sufferer of a demon as I put it under. Kill before it's time to kill them all. Pass down the righteous law. Servant justice that dwells in me. Love left gone to sorrows the youngest.
Bless me with a leaf off of the tree.
Oh my gosh, this is so wild. Oh, this is so wild. Oh, this is wild.
We are falling. The light is calling. Tears inside me, calm me down. Midnight calling, mist of resolve.
That's the pulse.
Crown me with a pure green leaf. Praise to my Father, blessed by the water. Black night, dark sky, the devil's
Wow, okay, so much more hard rock. A little bit metal there for sure. But that lead guitar, not very metal, very, very hard rock. Love, love, love that. Oh my gosh, especially at the end here where like everything was going on. I mean, the bass player is essentially like doing a solo. Not here. Right there, that bass fill, it's like the bass is filling, the guitar's soloing. You have that ba 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 vocal thing going on, and on top of that, the screaming. On top of that, the drums. Oh my goodness. Wild, wild, wild. Hey, if any of you are watching, make sure you hang out, because Bury the Light is not this song, but it's the next song. So hang out. We're going to listen to one more before Bury the Light. This one is called Wake Your Fury and Wait in Hell. Twitch, I say no thank you. But very cool. Please hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you are a gamer and you want to learn more about music theory, there's a course for you. It's in the description for you. It's a music theory course just for gamers. You can learn all about how to read, write, and understand music. Go check it out. Let's do Wake Your Fury and Wait and Tell. Let's do this thing. Sound of an orchestra tuning. Very interesting. With these moments of classical music thrown in there. Deliciously confused. So the next song is Bury the Light. A few words though we just listened to first. Okay. So I'm not sure about Blue Danube, but here, if you listen here at the beginning, this sound right here you're hearing in the strings, that's what it sounds like when an orchestra is tuning, which is really, really interesting to put that in as part of the music in this already kind of convoluted, weird piece. It's taking little bits and pieces. It almost feels like, you know those scenes when someone like gets lost in time and they're seeing like bits and pieces of their past pop up or whatever, kind of like Doctor Strangey type thing? That's what it feels like, little bits and pieces. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time! We're gonna listen to Bury the Light. Let's do this thing. Not the game edit, the full song. Here we go. Oh, acoustic guitar with electric. Oh, beautiful. Third. Oh, yes. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh, come on.
Shadows unfilled night.
Oh, don't tease me. There's a solo coming. Oh, come on.
You want this power, then come try and take it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, come on, baby. Yes, please. Yes, please. Correct. Devil Trigger. Yes. Music and on. Yeah. Okay. All right. First of all, that was sick. Second of all, I got a couple things I want to point out on this that were also really cool. So number one, as chat pointed out, we actually had the Devil Trigger motif playing at the end. Right. Okay. Now, two other things I want to point out. And I'm going to go actually in reverse order here. The first is in the chorus. All right. This is a small thing, but it's really cool. All right, so I might have to play this a couple times for your ears to catch it. In your right ear, if you're wearing headphones or earbuds, you're going to hear one, Anna, 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 with a very high guitar part all the way in your right ear. Listen out for this. It's a really cool piece. It's just like 2 notes at a time. Bugga, dugga, dugga, dugga. Wild to hear. Okay, there's so much going on, but I thought that was a really fun little thing to point out because very rarely do you hear guitars playing that type of role where it's almost like acting like percussion in the groove. But if that wasn't there, something would feel like it's missing because everything else is so low, it's so heavy, it's pushing forward, right? There's a lot of momentum, but having that dugum, 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 really, 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 really cool. The other thing I wanted to point out, and this is going to tie the bow on this entire reaction series. In, I believe, the menu theme from disc 1, the very first track that we heard, at one point towards the end, we heard a moment where it was a minor song the whole way through, and we had one moment where we heard a major third, the interval of a major third. And that's significant because it's not that often that happens. And to show you how sort of different that is, it's like... Now listen for the note I'm going to play. It's like, whoa, hang on. It doesn't quite fit with everything around it, right? But the way it was fit in worked in that disc 1. Now we actually heard, and I believe there is a connection here, because we heard this same idea of gesturing towards this major third a couple of times throughout this entire soundtrack. And sure enough, here, and Bury the Light, in the verse melody right at the end of the verse, we also hear that same major third. Here it comes, I think. Da, da, Maybe I'm misreading that and it was a major second. That'd be funny if I was wrong. Huh. Wow. It was wishful thinking. But still. Oh, gosh, that was going to be so strong if I had that right. A little mistake there. Happens every once in a while, but still a delicious song. Anywho, thank you all so much for hanging out and watching this this series with me here. This has been a ton of fun. I was right. I thought I was right. Where did I miss it, guys? A little bit further on. I know it is there in the next bit. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you. Oh, yes, okay, I did have it right. Right, I did have it right. Okay. I was like, man, did I really not hear that right the first time it came around? Did I really miss? No. I had it right. Thank you, chat, for saving me and making... I was like this close away from striking gold. Thank you, chat. Yes, so we had that major third. So the entire time, we're hanging out like this D Phrygian thing, D minor thing, and then having that F sharp there right at the end. Thanks for saving me, chat. Whew. All right. Saved in the clutch. Thank you guys so much. Hey, please hit like, subscribe, crush that notification bell. If you are a gamer and you'd like to understand more about your favorite game music, you do that with something called music theory. Music theory is like when Neo learned Kung Fu in the Matrix. He's like, oh, I know Kung Fu. That's what music theory is for understanding music. Once you understand music theory, it's like the hidden tips, tricks, the hidden systems that makes music sound the way it does. If you want to understand that, there's a course I made for you. It's in the description. It's a music theory for gamers course. Go check it out. Grab your spot if you're interested. All right, let's read some super chats. Any final thoughts on OST Duel? I loved it. I love the combination of the metal, of the dance. Completely original. Never heard anything like it before in my life. A ton of fun. Matthew Banky says, I'm requesting Banjo-Kazooie again. It feels like it will be a while before you get to it, but when you do, I hope you love it. Thank you, Matthew Banky. Muhammad Ali says, put this for Octopath Traveler, really underrated music. Thanks, Muhammad. Do appreciate your super chat and your support. D&M says, adding more towards Kingdom Hearts 2, please. You got it, D&M. Pikachu. Guys, we have a real-life Pokemon in the chat. And Pikachu says, and I believe this is correct, Pika Pika, Pika 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 Pika. Pikachu, which in English is looking forward to hearing your thoughts on Bury the Light. Casey Edwards, composer, and Victor Borba, vocalist, went all out on that track. Upvote to Yakuza 0. I agree. Thank you for your support, Pikachu, and everyone in the chat. We could just have a moment of thanks. Pikachu actually put the playlists together that we used today, so thank you so much for doing that, Pikachu. Shout out and thank you. Thank you, Pikachu. Or as they say in your native tongue, Pika Pika. Try lighting. There's another output for La Mulana. Let's get excited about the stuff that is still to come. 100% try lighting. TMac1313 says, what up, gamers? Hope your weekend is going well. Personally, I'm looking forward to diving headfirst into the new God of War. Put this towards Sonic Adventure. You got it, TMac1313. Rubberman202. Hey, Rubberman. Rubberman says, another one for Cuphead. I know you're going to love the OST. The whole game is a throwback to 1930s cartoons and is heavy on jazz, swing, and ragtime. I look forward to it, Rubberman. And Jetstorm, thank you for your super chat. Jetstorm says, I'm keeping the love for Ace Combat 5 going. Such a beautiful orchestral OST. Sorry I couldn't say for the rest of the DMC5. Never played, but from what I heard, it was pretty cool. Yes, it is pretty cool. I don't know, what I've never played, but what I heard so far was pretty cool. Indeed. Well, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful ride that has been DMC5. This was a ton of fun. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone, and goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.